Testing for YouTube. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's 2 o'clock. I'd like to call this regular meeting of City Council for the City of Port Alberni to order. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and recognize that we work, live, and play in the City of Port Alberni, which is situated on the unceded traditional territories of the Seychat and the Hoopa-Chesed First Nations. We have an agenda in front of us. Is there any late items identified by City Councilors? Seeing none. Is there any late items identified by the corporate officer?
No late items, Chair Mealy.
Thank you very much. And just a reminder, this is going to be video recorded, live streaming, recorded, and broadcast on YouTube. Can I have a motion that the agenda be approved as circulated? Councillor Solda, seconder. Councillor Dame. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. We have minutes of the special and regular council meetings, May 12th, 2025. Can we have a motion to adopt as presented? Councillor Solda, Councillor Dame is the seconder. Any discussions on the minutes as presented? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. We have no delegations today. We have no unfinished business. We have staff reports. And this is the quarterly departmental report from the fire department. We have the fire chief with us. Good afternoon, Chief. Thank you for taking time for us. I know you're a busy guy, so.
Thank you for having me. So before you today is the Q1 quarterly report for the Port Alberni Fire Department. As you can see, Q1 has been a busy one for us, both in terms of overall call volume, which is up a little bit, 2%, when compared to last year, which is our busiest Q1 to date, keeping in mind that last year was also busier than the year prior, but 2023 ended up being a busier year by year end. So early days, a lot of calls still to come during Q2 and Q3 especially. Within that as well, you'll see our prevalence of structure fires has increased 138%. We had 8 structure fires last year in Q1. Q1 this year, we've had 19. 3 of those 19 have been, the MA is mutual aid, so those are outside of the district, but still more than double the number of structure fires that we had last year in the same quarter within the city. Last time we did a quarterly report, there was a request to break out the motor vehicle incidents within the city and outside of the city, so that's what you're seeing there, with the MVIs being down from 19 to 15, down 21%. And then the task number ones, the task number represents that we are issued that task number by Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, and we do receive compensation on that. Those calls in Q1 were, again, down by 25% from 12 to 9. Medical first responders have increased by 15%. So again, our busiest Q1 to date with regards to those first responder calls. We did touch on it previously, but we have now, during Q1 was when the staffing changes happened. So we did have Captain Scott Burrows retire, as well as Chief Fire Prevention Officer Darren Fines. So we thank them for their long service. And with that, Ben Halachuk was promoted to captain, as well as Bladen Zaplatinsky is promoted to Chief Fire Prevention Officer. So all the while with these busier than normal Q1, we also had 2 firefighters in Q1 that were injured while at work. And in addition to that, another firefighter was injured away from work. So that's 3 firefighters that were unable to complete their regular duties. They're still, the 3 of them are still off, and we just had actually a 4th firefighter, a 3rd workplace-related injury that just happened within the last week. And so we are kind of struggling to maintain that. Thankfully, we were able to add 2 additional firefighters to provide relief coverage during that same time. That has been, something that has been of great value to us as in a number of realms, I guess. One is we would have otherwise been reliant on overtime in order to cover these, and also just our bench strength in terms of this number of structure fires that we have. When those people aren't available for regular work, they're also not available to respond off duty to a structure fire. So it does help us in that regard, and in terms of just preventing burnout as well. So we had those two that are providing relief coverage. We also have the one additional firefighter that is in a development role, but they have been slotting in where necessary to cover off some of those vacancies as well, and certainly do participate in mitigating structure fires when we're going to them, as well as other incidents. So yeah, just a bit of a statistic there. It's still early in terms of looking at the monetary amounts there, but the first pay period after onboarding those relief firefighters, we were able to reduce overtime by 49% in that pay period. And when you look at the averaging of all of the straight time and overtime for each pay period leading up to that first pay period where we onboarded those two firefighters, we did have a small overall reduction in overall wages. So it is working from a monetary standpoint as well as mental health and keeping us operationally ready. From communications, a slight update from previous quarterly reports. So we continue to have that strong social media presence. On X, we seem to have kind of leveled out in terms of our followers there, in and around 1,200. Those do continue to be consumed more by out-of-town travelers, and so we do get, for motor vehicle incidents as an example, where roadways are impacted or closed. We do get some feedback there that it's valuable information on X still for that purpose. Whereas I don't need to tell any of you that this is a Facebook town, and Facebook, the Facebook account is consistently higher demand. More people are following. We're now up to 9,250 followers on that PAFD account, which is, I think, the second largest that I know of in the city, maybe next to the Peak, I believe, has more. We looked at some of the analytics that were interesting, and of course, is Facebook pushing at us to create content that is more appealing to their users. And that's out of their feedback. There is a 2,166% more views on average for videos than we get on other posts. And so with that tends to grow the number of people that follow us. And because we have that large following, when it's a bad day and we need to tell people to get out of the way of the bad thing, those people are already following us, so it's easier to communicate with them. And we posted 49 times on both of those accounts on Facebook as well as Twitter during that time, or X. And in addition to that, as per normal, we continue to fulfill numerous radio, newspaper, and TV media requests that tend to happen after significant events within the city. The linkage to the corporate plan, this just continues to be a pillar of strategic priority 5, which is fostering a complete community, safe, healthy, and inclusive. This is completed by our rapid response of our on-duty crew to a range of incidents from medical first responders, motor vehicle incidents, wildfires, and structure fires, to name a few. And it's also accomplished by fire inspections that happen by the Chief Fire Prevention Officer, as well as the duty crew, and the Fire Smart program, which the two names are similar. So as a reminder, the Fire Smart program is mitigating risk in the wildland interface, and then the Fire Safe program is the one that we rolled out last year within the city, which was targeting homes that were deemed to be by Stats Canada and the Office of the Fire Commissioner at a higher risk of fire or injuries or death as a result of a fire. We have attended hundreds of homes within the city of Port Alberni, gone in, spoken with them about fire safety, and asked if they'd like us to check out their smoke alarms, if their smoke alarms were in excess of 10 years old, or they needed an additional one, or it wasn't placed in the right spot, or the batteries were dead. We would install a new fire alarm if they wanted it, and that cost was completely absorbed by the Office of the Fire Commissioner. Budget overview. So as you can see here, the budget for Q1 is on pace for the year. There was a slight, or I shouldn't say slight, but fire prevention is higher than normal, and that's as a result of just reconciling the retirement that happened in Q1. And then as we look forward, it's, again, just a busy year thus far. The struggles that we're having currently with the 20% of our permanent suppression staff are injured at present, but that being mitigated by those additional relief staff that we've been able to bring on. We just started last week rolling that fire safe program out to Sachot. We were able to get additional funding for more smoke alarms in order to roll that program out to Sachot and Hupetchesset. And so, we're really excited to be able to extend that out to those nations. And of course, wildfire season is just around the corner, and so we're preparing for that, both in FireSmart as well as operationally. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Just before we get to questions, I appreciate your report, Chief. Thank you for coming with that. Just wanted to state really quickly, thank you very much to Captain Burrows and our Chief Prevention Officer, Darren Fines, as well, for all their hard work, not just in their positions, but over the years, long-term firefighters here in the city of Port Alberni. Congratulations to Ben Halchuk and Bladen Zaplatinsky on moving up, and two more that have been with the city for years and know and understand what this community is all about and the struggles and the pros and the cons in this community. So I appreciate them. I do have one question before we get to council. So council had a motion a little over 6 months, I guess, ago now, on changing what we, the fire department, will go to in the way of colored codes for the calls. Can I just get your opinion or your take on that, and has that affected it? I see, again, the calls are up, MVIs are down, but the medical first responders are still up. So has that affected anything in your opinion?
So it definitely has. We've actually asked North Island 911 to prepare a report for us, which is going to come due in time for our Q2 report. So I'll actually have some real data to go along with it then. But I can tell you that there is a number of yellow and orange delays that do come onto our board, and then they disappear because they're not dispatched, because we're not responding to those anymore. Sometimes they end up getting upgraded to red, which was what Don Elzinga from BCEHS had advised. Like, if the patient's condition is deteriorating, then there is a mechanism in place in order to activate responders, and so that does happen from time to time. And then the other part that's harder to quantify in these stats is that it's those orange-yellow delays that often result in us being on scene for prolonged periods of time. So it's not just one more number of medical event that we're responding to, but it's an event that we may have been on scene for 45 minutes, an hour, or more. And so that keeps our crews free and available to respond to whatever the next incident is.
And just on that one, sorry, Councillor Haggard, I'll get to you. Just on that, I drive around at nighttime and the crew has been out a lot. So, and you can tell just by medical first responder calls of the Q1 up by 15%, and you can see them out there. So, and I'd just like to say to the, firefighting is a dangerous job. And for those who are hurt right now, our thoughts are with you, and hopefully a speedy recovery for the staff of the city of Port Alberni that are injured right now on the job. So, Councillor Haggard.
Thank you very much. I agree with Councillor Meany. The increased number of medical first responder calls continue to concern me greatly, not only for firefighters, but also for the RCMP. So I'd like to ask the CEO, is there any update on our progress on our community, getting some kind of a community crisis response team in our city?
Yeah, through the chair, thanks for the question. We continue to meet with staff, but no firm timelines or any options. So I know there are several senior staff that are working on this, and we'll update council as soon as we have any information. But I think it might be something that we do talk again at UBCM about, and we'll be bringing a report on where council would like to engage at UBCM.
I think that has to be one of our number one priorities. Thank you.
Anyone else from council like to speak? If not, thank you, Chief. Can we get a motion to receive as information? Councillor Patola will make that motion. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Dame. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you. And also, too, and I apologize, I should have done this at the start, too, since we're talking about retirements and that. I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank publicly Willa Thorpe, and as the previous Director of Parks and Recreation Culture, who navigated us through some great times. She has moved on, but we appreciate all the work that she's done, and I recognize as council that staff will have a little bit more on their plate coming this summer, so we appreciate all the work that staff did. So we are going to bylaws. And bylaw 5129, respectful behavior bylaw. Who would like to address this? Oh, Councillor, it's just for final adoption, so if staff doesn't have anything to say, Councillor Patola?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move that respectful behavior bylaw number 5129, 2025 be now finally adopted, signed by the mayor and corporate officer, and numbered 5129.
Seconder is Councillor Solda. Do you have any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. No correspondence for action, no proclamations. We have correspondence for information. Madam Corporate Officer.
Thank you, Chair Mealy. So we have a letter from the Union of BC Municipalities confirming council's resolutions that they've submitted have been received. So 2 that were endorsed at AVICC regarding sustainable fiber and the fiber decline, and another regarding inclusive governance with First Nations. Secondly, also from AVICC is the outcome of their survey regarding reforming the Local Government Act. There's a copy of a letter from the North Coast Regional District regarding Pacific Northern Gas proposed increase of natural gas delivery rates. We have the ACRD board highlights of April, the ACRD media release regarding the North Island College greenhouse propagation course. We have a release from the Alberni Valley Chamber of Commerce regarding their board appointments. And lastly, the AV Museum and Heritage Commission minutes of April 2nd. Thank you.
Is there anything in there that council would like to highlight, pull out, discuss? Councillor Haggard.
Sorry, I don't want to pull anything out, but I do have a question or a request from the corporate officer. The letter from AVICC reforming the Local Government Act, I couldn't get any of the links to work, so I was wondering if you could email that to us and then I could click on the links and have a look. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Anything else from council? If not, motion to receive.
So moved.
Councillor Solda, seconder. Councillor Dame. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Alrighty, we have 2 reports from in camera. Would you like to discuss that, Madam Corporate Officer?
Thank you. So council releases for public consumption that the terms of the months of operation for Unit 17 at the Alberni Harbour Quay be changed from May 1st to October 31st, to June 1st through September 30th, and that following advertisement, should there be no applications received, that staff offer the unit free of charge to Alberni Valley Chamber of Commerce for the 2025 season. And secondly, that council release for public consumption amendment of the City of Port Alberni financial plan bylaw by transferring $7,000 from line 21190 receptions and other services and line 21259 other common services to line 21110 at mayor and 21130 council to provide an option for council benefits coverage for dependents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Corporate Officer. Next, we have council and regional district reports. On page 60, are there anything? Councillor Solda, go right ahead.
Thank you. I just want to bring up, along with Councillor Patola, we attended the British Columbia Economic Development Conference in Penticton for 4 days. And I just want to say congratulations to T-Shot and the Hoopachesit, and of course the City of Port Alberni. We received 2 awards, and I'm sure Councillor Patola probably will add to this. The one award was for 10,000 to 25,000 in population, and it was the SETI project at the Clutesy. We received People's Choice Award, and we also received for our population. And it was there was 10 other groups, 10 other communities, and their projects were part of it, and we won. And to me, the People's Choice Award to me was the best award because it was voted amongst our peers, and that to me is great for our community. And it was really interesting. It was a really interesting conference because you got to meet other people who are in the stages of development in their economies, and they're having the same issues as Port Alberni. We think we are unique. We're not, because they have a lot of good, and they have some obviously social issues and hospital shortage. I've heard one community said they have no doctors, and they don't know how to bring doctors in or get doctors to come to their community, and people have to go quite a distance to get to a doctor. So that's one issue. Another one was talking about with the tariffs coming in now, how do we feed some of our community and lettuce and different prices that it's beyond reasonable, some of the prices that they were telling. So it was interesting networking with people regarding that. And another thing that was really interesting was that we had a shortage of lifeguards here, but one community decided that they were going to, and I think it was Saanich, but I'm not sure, they got the school involved by going to the school, and during PE time, they brought in students who really wanted to go out there and be lifeguards. So during school time, the students would go to their rec center and learn the technique of lifeguarding and all that. And the city did help them financially to, like, I think it was $150 or something like that comes to my mind, that to help them become lifeguards. So that's how they helped with their shortage. So we weren't the only ones in Port Alberni that had a shortage of lifeguards. It's all over. And somebody did ask me, do we have that shortage now? And we seem to be fine, but remember, we have students that are lifeguards, and there are times that students do have a life, and they do attend hockey camps and different things that they can't come to work. So there could be that. I don't know if we have that issue at this moment, and we did in the past. So there were some really good things, and I don't know if Councillor Patola wants to add on to that. I also want to say that I attended, along with Councillor Mealy, and the T-Shot Lightning basketball tournament. Wow, if you didn't go, you should have gone. This whole community was so full. The hotels were full. Obviously, the Walmart campground was full. If anybody drove by, I took a picture, and I counted at least 20 trailers one time on the, I call it the Walmart campsite. And but everything was full, and it was buzzing. And I just want to say, what a great event. It was a pleasure to attend, and on behalf of the city, and I think what a great economic for our benefit for our community. So I just want to say kudos to T-Shot and the it's I can't even Mr. Ross and his team. I'm not even going to pronounce his first name here. Mr. Ross and his team, and all the trainers and the volunteers that participated. Thank you.
There was reference to Councillor Patola. If you would like to take your moment, sir, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, economic development conferences are a fantastic thing, and I really want to thank council and the taxpayers for sending us to it. We find out, at least I find, that when I go to economic conferences, I learn a lot of solutions and plans for implementation of solutions that are widely applicable to all communities. And I learn also, as Councillor Slaughter pointed out, that we're not the only community that has needs and has issues that we need to face and solve and be creative in how we do it. One of the interesting things that happened to me at this conference that I'd like to share with everyone is I find that no matter where I go in the world, that I meet people that are connected to Port Alberni. That has happened to me in Italy, in Tahiti, in Australia, and at this conference, it happened to be in Penticton. As I walked in the door, I bumped into Deputy Chief Travis Cross and his partner Melissa. We're there for another conference. And at the end of the conference, a gentleman by the name of Darren McCormick came up to me to say hello, and he grew up in Port Alberni and has fond memories. And what I want to share is that I realized people want to be connected to Port Alberni. Irrespective of what the press may say at various times about Port Alberni, I always meet people and they want to be connected to this town because it holds memories, it holds potential, it holds their future, their family, and I don't think we should dismiss that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Good words, good words. Anyone else that would like to discuss? Just really quick on my part, obviously, I am not Mayor Shari Minions, just so if someone hasn't figured that out, she is away. But I did attend, which is not on the report, I did attend the Community Policing Volunteer meeting last week to bring greetings on behalf of council. Then I went to the McLean's Mill for the AGM for the Chamber of Commerce, that is on there. But then at nighttime, we had the Community Forest AGM. I attended that with Councillor Verbrugge, who's not here, so I just thought I'd mention it. It was a very good meeting. I think it's important that, you know, the city shows up and just understands that it's not just a check every year. They were very happy to receive that information and just understand. Mr. Badesso did talk to me afterwards and did say that they should come here for a bit of an update, and then asked if we would go on a tour of the community forest. So I said, you know, come forward and maybe we can get on the old bus there and head out there and take a look at the community forest. So anyways, we'll see. They are going to do their dividend check a little later in the year this year, just based on timing. But they do say that they're going to come to council and try to at least update us and keep us aware of what the community forest is doing. So also attended the Emergency Program Executive Committee meeting as well later that week, and a couple more meetings this week. So other than that, that's it. Do we have, can we get a motion to receive the councilor's reports? Councilor Dane. Seconder? Councilor Patola. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. All right, new business. Next up, we have the master planning update. See, Mr. Arsenault is here. Welcome, sir. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule as well. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Chair and Council. My report today is serves two purposes. One is to update Council on the status and progress of the various master plan projects that are underway. And secondly, to request a change to the approved financial plan to reallocate some monies between a couple of the line items, which I'll explain. So maybe to keep it short, I'll jump right to table one, if that's okay, at the end of the report. Okay, so what this table is showing is, you may recall, in 2023, council passed a resolution as a result of a staff report to allocate monies from the Growing Communities Fund among several departments for a number of proposed master plan projects. So that first column there is the recommended funding in the original report to Committee of the Whole and later approved by council. So what you can see in the second column there, that's our current approved capital plan. So you'll see it matches for Parks, Recreation, and Culture Department and for the Infrastructure Services Department. But currently our approved financial plan doesn't reflect that original intended division of the 1.05 million. So my recommendations here today include adjustment without any increase in funding, but to first to allocate money to the development cost charges study that's planned to be done after the other studies as originally intended by the motion, and also to allocate a small portion of the funds, the originally allocated funds that would have been going to that DCC study, to the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Master Plan, because we've found over the course of the project that our actual project needs look like they're going to be about 10% higher than what we originally envisioned for that. That reallocation of $26,000 to Parks, Recreation, and Culture would allow us to go back to our original plan of producing two versions of the master plan report in the end. One, a full staff version with all the gory details, and we'd hoped originally to do a second sort of summary, more public-oriented, public-friendly report. We don't currently have that in our budget for that project in particular. So we would like to add that back in, and we would like to add back into our scope, our original intent that we had hoped to do a consultant-led full presentation once we have a draft master plan report. So we currently don't have that in our contracted budget. We also found that we needed to spend more effort than we originally planned on meetings and consultation with interest groups such as leaseholders of city facilities, recreation and sports groups, heritage and culture groups. So we ended up having a lot more meetings and communications with those people than was originally budgeted for in the consultant's scope. So if we do not allocate some additional money, then we may have to remove some other scope items later on in the project to balance out the contract. So that would be the purpose of the allocation. Again, there'd be no proposed increase to the amount of funding coming from the fund at this time. And the other $124,000 would still go to development cost charges study. Moving on to table 2, which is just a kind of high-level overview of where we are with the various projects. So as you know, the Fire Services Master Plan report was received. We are still pursuing with the consultant some revisions to address some things in that report that we feel need to be fleshed out more. 3 of the master plan projects are so Parks, Recreation, and Culture, Stormwater and Combined Service Overflows, and the Transportation or Mobility Master Plan have all completed the first phase of their projects, that being the first round engagement, public surveys, and assessment of existing conditions, basically the background study reports. We have those in draft from the consultants for each of those projects now. And they're now moving into development of recommendations and future needs, and development of capital priorities that we'll be working on those projects over the summer. Wastewater master plan, so for our sanitary sewers and wastewater treatment plant and pump stations is still in relatively early stages. Just awarded that recently to Coors and Associates Engineering. And drinking water master plan, we do have our preferred consultant and our some of our terms of reference. We're still in the process right now of finalizing the contract scope and budget with The successful proponent for that one, again, was also Gers and Associates Engineering. So that one will be kicking off very soon. Lastly, the two projects that have not started yet, the watershed protection plan. We did make an attempt at kicking that one off last year. We did a public request for expressions of interest to consulting firms specializing in that, and we did not receive any submissions. So we do have a plan, an altered plan to go back and retain some specialist consultants for that. But we're not quite, it's not quite at the top of the pile yet, so soon we'll be reinitiating, getting that project underway. And then staff had also proposed corporate greenhouse gas management plan that would focus on city assets and city programs. We're going to be waiting for our vacancy for climate and sustainability planner to help lead that project. So that's been temporarily shelved until that person's on board and ready to go. And that's my summary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arsenault. Appreciate that. I do just want to point out a couple of things. Just thank you very much for your update on the watershed protection plan and where we're at with that. It is obviously very important. Watershed protection, those two words should really go together. Appreciate the fact that you've got a plan in place, and very unfortunate that no one bid on that, and we can't move forward with that just yet, but I appreciate the update on that. Also, the transportation master plan, I think I just want to address this really quickly because we've made changes at 10th and Dunbar, and the transportation master plan will give us a final idea of what we want to do at that intersection, unless staff can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So just for everybody out in the public, the 10th and Dunbar is still ongoing. The transportation master plan will lead us in the right direction on what we can do at that intersection for everybody. Is there any questions from council to Councillor Haggard?
Thank you very much. I just need some clarification. On your report on page 63 under Parks, Recreation, Cultural Master Plan, it says that condition assessments for a number of city buildings was eliminated from the project scope, but in your project status update, it says included the facilities condition assessments. So is that something that's included or is it not included? Can you just clarify, please, for me?
Yeah, sure. Through the chair, I can respond to that. So just for clarification, we did complete the facilities condition assessments. Those reports are available on the city's website for public viewing. We did originally issue a request for proposal for a larger number of city buildings to be assessed, but because the bids that came in were higher than our budget, we negotiated with the preferred consultant and removed, I think, 4 or 5 of the buildings that we had originally, generally the smaller buildings out of the set. So we did complete the project for the rest of them within the budget available. But those, ideally, we'd like to go back when budget allows at some point to go and assess those buildings that we missed.
Great, thank you for the clarification. I think we should go back and get those buildings assessed as well. Thank you.
Got Councillor Solden and Councillor Dane.
Just a quick clarification on table number 1. So the money that you're just asking to be allocated, you're not asking for an increase or anything, it's just allocation of which master plan it's going to go to. Is that correct?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct. So the revised financial plan will be for the same total amount. It's just we're moving it from a higher than we intended amount that was allocated into fire services into the other line items for the same total funding.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just go ahead and make that motion. I move that council amend City of Port Alberni 2025 to 2029 financial plan bylaw number 5123, 2025 for the purpose of capital plan changes for master planning projects as follows. A, reallocate 26,000 from project number 24004, Fire Services Master Plan, to project number 24001, Parks, Recreation, and Culture Master Plan. And B, reallocate 124,000 from project number 24004, Fire Services Master Plan, to proposed 2026 capital project development cost charges update.
Thanks to Councillor Dame, seconded by Councillor Patola. Are there any other questions, conversations, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Ms. Arsenault. Appreciate you. Next, we have 2025 UBCM resolutions. Director of Corporate Services.
Thank you, Chair Mealy. So the report before you today is to inform Council of resolutions previously submitted to AVICC that were thus endorsed to the 2025 Union of BC Municipalities Convention, and to seek input for additional resolutions that Council may wish to submit. As I mentioned earlier in our correspondence section, the first two resolutions addressed fiber decline, as well as the need for sustainable fiber in the second. And lastly, a resolution regarding establishing a framework for intergovernmental relations with First Nations was submitted as well. The UBCM convention takes place in September 22nd to the 26th in Victoria, and the main forum for UBCM policymaking is its annual resolution cycle, providing an opportunity for local governments to express concerns, share their experiences, and take a united position. UBCM does urge local governments to submit resolutions to their area associations first, as Council did. However, if there are topics or items that come up following AVICC, there is an opportunity for Council to submit those resolutions up to June 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Corporate Officer. Any discussion? Councillor Patola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it was at AVICC when we were there that the UBCM President, Trish Mandewel, made a comment about the number of resolutions that are received at UBCM and how they are getting quite lengthy and maybe not of lesser importance, but more specific importance to just the municipality that is addressing them, as opposed to a concern that's cross municipalities. And I guess the general nature of the suggestion was let's focus together as a group and maybe not put in so many resolutions that that we simply won't be able to accomplish any of them, and that the voice that the senior government hears becomes diluted. So I am, in response to the resolutions that we're submitting this year, I think they are both of great importance to our community, and widely shared across the province. So they are of the nature that is being sought. And once again, as we did last year, we are making a meaningful contribution to the municipal governments, both locally and across the entire province.
Thank you, Councillor Patola. And I agree, just much like you were talking earlier about the economic, do that you guys went to. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, the conference, I apologize. We have many communities that are like us, and we're like them. So united we stand, divided we fall. You would think getting together first would be a great thing. So appreciate those comments. Anybody else would like to talk about this? Seeing none, we have a motion to receive the report. Can we have that from a councillor? Oh, it's Councillor Patola. Seconder, Councillor Dame. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. Next up, we have the Heritage Commission coming forward to participate at the 2025 Alberni District Fall Fair. I see that Ms. Perry is here, and I'll be more than happy to comment as well as Council's representative on the Heritage Commission, but I'll leave it to you first. Ms. Perry.
Thank you, Chair Mealy. The purpose of my report is to seek Council's authorization for the Community Heritage Commission to participate in the 2025 Alberni District Fall Fair for the purposes of increasing public awareness of cultural and heritage matters, and to conduct a short community survey to support the future planning and engagement strategies.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Appreciate that. So just a little background from us. The Heritage Commission is trying to change what they do, become more inclusive, kind of spread their wings a bit as well, and part of that is, as was brought up by a former city manager, a smart guy, and Ken Watson, and he said the idea came up to go to the fall fair and be part of that, and that is not covered under the bylaw. So it is an act of council. So the reason why it's here is just merely letting council know, asking for permission to have a spot at the fall fair, and just, and of course, I mean, if councillors want to volunteer their time too, they're more than welcome, right? So, but that is kind of the reasoning behind it. So I have Councillor Haggard, then Councillor Solda.
I was actually going to say, if you need extra help, I'm always happy to help. And I'd like to make the motion, if I may.
Yes, Councillor Haggard.
I'd like to move that council authorize the Community Heritage Commission to participate in the 2025 Alberni District Fall Fair, to host an information and engagement booth, and to conduct a short community survey regarding cultural and heritage awareness, interest, and future initiatives. And I was wondering, I would like to ask also, I won't make it part of the motion, but if you could share the results of that survey at some time when you get them all calculated, that would be very interesting to hear. Thank you.
Councillor Solda is a seconder on that, absolutely. Yeah, and just really quickly, again, it's for all the partners within the Heritage Commission, so Maritime Heritage, Arts Council, everybody's gonna have a spot in that and can come and volunteer. But it's just more along the lines of awareness for the community on what the Heritage Commission does and the partners within, and who knows, we may get more partners come and wanna be part of the Heritage Commission, so that's what it's all about, so. Do we have the motion on the floor, seconded? Do we have any discussion otherwise? Any other questions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Ms. Perry. Appreciate it. Next up, we have a development variance permit for 4691 Gertrude Street. And for the people at home, that is the piece of property north of the Beaver Creek Home Center, if I'm not mistaken. We have Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Council. So Council's being asked to consider a development variance permit number 125. It's property 4691 Gertrude Street, which is actually part of the Beaver Creek Home Center. This property recently went through a rezoning amendment to the C7 zone and is now part of their larger development. This variance is not considered a minor variance under our development procedures bylaw, and therefore council must consider this variance, and that's why it's in front of council today. This just gives you a bit of an overall site. So it's kind of the portion at the very top end there that's kind of was green. There was a former house there prior to the rezoning, so that's the portion of the fence or the area, and essentially. What the variance is requesting to do is to increase the maximum height of a permitted fence from 6 feet to 8 feet. So that's what's being asked through this application. The variance would allow Beaver Creek Home Center to enclose the property with an 8-foot fence. Much of the property is already enclosed by an 8-foot fence that was installed prior to the 2023 update to the zoning bylaw. That as part of that update, it was a much larger update, but as part of that was some changes to fencing standards. So they would like to essentially match the height of the fence from what they currently have for the balance of the property, for it to be used for storage, parking, or whatever may be, whatever is approved under the C7 zone that they currently have. Oh, it was working so well. Okay. This just gives you a bit of a site plan showing again, the further area that would be enclosed. Staff do not anticipate any negative impacts to the surrounding neighborhood. The chain link fence will have some privacy slats to help improve screening. Also some cedar hedge landscaping along the portion of the property would also reduce impacts on adjacent properties. Notice was provided to adjacent property owners as per the Local Government Act. No correspondence was received in regards to the variance. Council's options are to approve the development variance permit as requested. Council may decline the development variance permit or potentially ask staff for additional information. and staff is recommending that council approve development permits number 125 to allow an increase in the height for the fence for the balance of this property, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate that. Just really quickly, usually on a piece of property like this, on a corner with a new fence, I wouldn't be very happy about it. However, the configuration of that intersection, if you're turning left onto Gertrude from Burke, you have the median in the way as well as a very large sidewalk. So I don't believe that a fence, even a chain link fence, is going to have a problem with visibility for people turning left. So that would be my only concern, but.
I didn't emphasize it on the site plan, but there is the visibility corner there, so that would still be required to be maintained.
Absolutely. So, Councilor Patola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two questions. One is, perhaps you do or don't have the answer, but what is the purpose of increasing the fence height? What difference does it make that they need an 8-foot fence as opposed to a 6-foot fence?
I'd say it's consistency, but also an added level of security with the increased height.
I see. I apologize. There is a member from the group here, and he is nodding his head, so I would assume that's correct.
And I also, there's a requirement for a cedar hedge. And I'm wondering about the safety implications of that. If this area is going to be for storage, I note the drawing keeps the storage away from the cedar hedge, but once it's being used for storage, there might be lumber stored there at any point in time, and storing it right beside a cedar hedge only increases the fire risk. Is it possible that there is a different type of visual barrier instead of a cedar hedge?
If that was council's direction, we could certainly explore that with the property owner. The intention was to try and provide some screening and some buffering to the adjacent areas. I think it's always important to have somewhat of awareness. I mean, that if there is or other items stored, it would be behind the 8-foot fence. So again, some security. So hopefully that wasn't there, but we could work with that. Like a properly green cedar hedge. It's not my area of expertise on fire-related issues, but certainly we could work with the owner if somebody wanted to do something different. There are a lot of cedar hedges in this community, and I'm not to diminish the risk, but I'm not sure it would be a huge increase in risk, but we'd be pleased to work with the owner if council wanted us to look at it for a different alternative.
Yeah, I just noted that the fire chief was here earlier on and pointed out how much we're spending on trying to fire safe the community, which I imagine is part of that is encouraging people to remove flammable hedges. I'm not sure that we should be encouraging people to put them back in.
I mean, again, pleased to take direction from council, but it is adjacent to a street. It's not like this portion is adjacent to housing or other structures.
Thank you, Councilor Patola. Appreciate the answers. Anyone else on council like to speak on this? If not, we do have a recommended motion on the floor. Councilor Solda?
I'll move the very section 6.7.4 to increase the permitted height of a fence from the rear of the required front yard setback to the rear of the property to 2.44 meters for a variance of 0.64 meters.
Thank you, Councilor Solda. I appreciate that. I'm going to assume that your motion is that a council authorize the issuance of a development variance permits number 125 and that Director of Corporate Services be authorized to sign the permit granting the following variance of the zoning bylaw with conditions at 4691 Gertrude Street as you have outlined.
We team tagged.
That's a motion from Councilor Solda. Second, Councilor Dame. Appreciate that. Is there any other discussion, questions? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried.
I was testing.
Thank you for Councilor Solda for testing me. Next up, we have, it is Paper Mill Dam. Absolutely. Report from paper. So this would be Mr. Fox.
Yeah, thanks. And through the chair, there's been some discussion after the budget adjustments that were made last year about the ongoing maintenance or cleanup at the 3 parks that the budget was lowered considerably. There are some differences at Paper Mill Dam that are summarized in the report that lead to us believing that we can maintain a service level at that place. With just a little bit of a reallocation in the parks budget, where the parks manager has been working on multiple areas of adjustment, which he'll bring forward in the quarterly report for council's review. But this report is just to ensure council that there will be a minimal level of service at Paper Mill Dam to make sure that it is that the garbage is cleaned up. But besides that, the gate will be opened. The caretaker will still be present. However, the other 2 parks will be maintained as safe, but the gates will be closed, and we will be putting up signage that reinforces that any users are using it at their own risk and it's unmaintained.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Appreciate that, and I think that's a further discussion to have is that council will have is on those other parks. But I think it's easy to see that Paper Mill Dam is a highly used park in the summertime by many users. You can fish. A lot of people that's where they get out when they tube down the river. We know that's huge as well. So appreciate the staff understanding and the willingness to keep the gates open so it doesn't cause further problems for the people and the users of Paper Mill Dam, which it's a little different. It's just outside, but it's still a well-used park. And I think we'll have those discussions about where the park goes from here in the future, but as long as the gate's open and it's still clean and we're able to do that. And of course, I would like to just say to the public, you're gonna use it this year, keep it clean. Pick up your garbage, help us out, help us keep that park open as long as possible as well. So, Councillor Solda, did you have your hand up? Sorry, no, I apologize. Did anybody else want to speak? Councillor Haggard.
I read the motion. Sure. I'd like to move that council receive the report, Paper Mill Dam Park Maintenance, dated May 22nd, 2025, as information.
Thank you, Councillor Haggard. Seconder, Councillor Solda. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Is that really it? Okay. Wow. Question period. An opportunity for the public to ask questions of council. On decisions or recommendations made during the course of this meeting, a maximum of 3 questions will be permitted per speaker. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Hello, sir. Would you like to come up, introduce yourself, and have some questions?
Mr. Smith, another Mr. Smith. This is probably just more of a housekeeping item I'm inquiring about today, Mr. Chair, but there was a, just get it here, you guys were bringing out of in camera a change to council benefits for extending to dependents. And I noticed that in the bylaw that was approved in July of 2021, that the option was already there for councillors to obtain that coverage, but at their own expense. And at that same discussion, council went to great lengths to articulate to the public that they were not voting on a change to their remuneration or compensation to affect the current council. It would take effect for the next council. So in section 10, benefits coverage, council met in the bylaw, which was approved at that meeting and is in the agenda package. I checked again today because I remembered it, the discussion. It was a Zoom because we were coming out of COVID. Council members shall have the option to purchase additional medical and dental coverage for the members' dependents at their own expense. And the changes discussed at that council meeting regarding council remuneration did not affect any changes to the financial plan because it was to come into effect in calendar year 2023. I know today that this requires an amendment to the financial plan, which requires, obviously, there's financial implication for this council to the benefit of this council beginning now, not a future council. I realize it's a small amount of money. I'm trying to understand the process, first of all, because in a way it sort of contradicts the tone of the meeting 4 years ago. I respect that some of you weren't here then, but also that the bylaw, by all appearances, as consolidated, and is what the current one that I can find. Perhaps there's another that I'm not aware of, and staff or someone could, through you, Mr. Chair, could help me understand that, because I admit all the time I don't know what I don't know, but this is the bylaw I can find. And so the terms of that bylaw have changed, but when was that bylaw discussed and that change? If I could just get a little bit of it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Fox?
Thanks, and through the chair to Mr. Smith, we will be bringing the bylaw forward to amend the bylaw now with this direction.
So the change is not, this is a discussion right now, and then council will be changing that bylaw in open meeting? Is that, do I understand that correct?
Through the
And
chair.
they'll vote on there, sorry?
Through the chair, it will come through to a regular meeting.
Okay. So, so to be clear, what's discussed today is this going to be coming forward at another date? So, and then you guys can decide. Okay. Yeah. And the 7,000, the other part of this, is it 14,000 in total, or is it 7,000 coming from the two different accounts?
Through the chair, the benefits depend if people actually opt in. So this is a worst case scenario if all council took the benefits. There are some councillors that may have other plans, et cetera. So this is based on a worst case scenario, and then it goes into our adjuster. So then we'll get the final dollar amount. We just are very comfortable as administration with this moving forward. We'd be able to cover any additional costs moving forward for council dependents.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak or have any questions? I see nobody else other than staff and Gerald, so good to see you, Gerald. Seeing none, it is 3:01. May I have a motion to adjourn? Councillor Solda, second. Councillor Dame. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oppose? Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.